What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the epoxy process and what it takes to get that done on my monitor enclosure. So what epoxy is for is to be able to water seal or waterproof whatever you're using it for. In my case, I want to use it to waterproof and protect the wood inside of my enclosure, not the outside, just the inside. Just like in my last video, I made sure that everybody knew I already had this taped off. Now what I did was take 3M masking tape and I taped off every spot on the outside where I thought maybe at some point I may end up getting some epoxy on there. So just to make sure while I was rolling edges and such that I didn't have any rollover out onto the outside that would cause me to look crazy, I decided to tape everything off. I've actually already got all the doors and taped off as well. The one thing I've already done to this and to all my doors, except for one, was to make sure and clean it. The best way to do that before we start the epoxy process, vacuum out your enclosure. I vacuumed out my enclosure that way to try and get any dust particles out, any big chunks from drilling or cutting, anything like that. What makes it crazy is that I don't know. Never mind that one. I already did all that and cleaned it all out. I vacuumed it out. The reason I say clean it out is because even though you vacuum it, you're still going to be missing dust and wood particles. The best way to do that is to get mineral spirits. It's a cleaner. However, if you're like me and having to build your enclosure inside and trying to avoid fumes in your whole house smelling like cleaner, get low odor. Crown's low odor mineral spirits. Quick dissolving, takes about 5 minutes to dissolve and dry out. Does not, excuse me, does not soak into the wood. Excuse me again. It does not soak into the wood, so you are able to move on about staining just the same or epoxy within a matter of minutes. What I do is, I've already done this, but I'll take some of my mineral spirits and I'll just dab it onto a rag like so. And if that's matter of fact, this door still needs done, so I'll go ahead and do it just so I can show. But open the lid up, dump a little bit onto your rag. A little goes a little ways. Alright. You can see right now it's kind of dull. Start wiping it up and shining it off. And I am going to hit this plastic as well. That way it's covered with epoxy and helps make an air seal or a moisture seal. And there we have it. Now we'll set this to the side and let it dry with the rest of the doors. Alright, now I've already done that to every little bit of the enclosure. It's already dry. So here soon we're going to be moving to the epoxy process. What you're going to need. Let's talk about this. I'm actually going to take you over and show you my supply list. What you're going to need, or what I'm using, is epoxy. Reptile safe, non-toxic VOC epoxy. Pond Shield, Pond Armor, they say is rated the best. So that's what we went with. And this color happens to be forest green. So it's going to have forest green on the inside of that. That'll look really cool. I've got plastic trays and a metal liner for the epoxy to sit in. I bought small rollers and big rollers. There's some paint sticks to help mix the epoxy. It is a 2-part epoxy, so you will need the 2 parts of epoxy along with either denatured alcohol. Jasco denatured alcohol is what I went with, or 99% proof rubbing alcohol. I bought some paintbrushes to help get into the corners, and 60 grit paper for after every layer. Okay, before you can do epoxy, you have to rough everything up that you're going to epoxy with 60 grit paper. If you paid attention in my first video, I said I went through and sanded everything down with 100, then went to 220 for texture purposes, and then came back and roughed it up with 60 so that my epoxy would adhere. I've got some Bondo spreaders for what I used to fill the holes with spackle. I'm also using it to help in the corners to seal off the enclosure when I epoxy it, because in the corners, the first layer I'm going to lay down, I'm going to let cure for 24 hours. Then after that, I'm going to cut fiberglass cloth into inch-long strips and stick it down into the corners. And then I'm going to use my Bondo tools to my brushes to saturate the fiberglass strip, and this to get any of my air bubbles out and spread up whatever leftover epoxy is there from saturating my corners. To mix the epoxy, I got some mix cups. Depending on how much you are using, you could use the small one, medium, or even go bigger. I personally am probably going to mix it all in just that little one right there. For fumes purposes, I've got some respirator masks. Now I will say that I am doing this inside, so I am going to have to hang a tarp in two different places and open windows and a back door and put some fans in here for ventilation purposes, or your whole house will smell horrible. But for the most part, I think I'll be all right. Now, what this process is really going to entail, I'm not sure. But we're going to find out together, aren't we? So, all right, let's go get started, guys. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. All right, so notice I changed clothes. That way I wouldn't get anything dirty. So we're going to mix A and B of the 2 parts epoxy, okay? It'll be 1 cup of B to every 2 cups of A. There's 2 cups of B and 4 cups of A. And then you also need a 1/2 cup of 99% proof rubbing alcohol, or denatured alcohol, which is what I've got, which is this. So we've already poured in the part B. I'm gonna mix in the part A. And start mixing this up. Get a nice good mixture here going, y'all. And then we're gonna add in the thinner. Probably a good idea to only mix as much as you can use. Alright guys, we got it all mixed and put in the pan. So, now we're going to see what it would take to start putting it down.
And then we have to bubble it into that piece.
And here we go.
Daddy, you have to put glue them. You can't leave them on ground.
I know, baby.
I was walking there and hit it. You can't do that. You can't move like on the ground.
Well, this stuff spreads on really well.
Oh my
Surprisingly.
God.
So, they say the first layer is going to spread, or going to soak into the wood pretty well. So, we'll hope that continues to be the case. Try and get a nice roll going on here.
A little bit more.
May have to get some brushes to get up into the further corners. But yeah, we'll get this going and we'll come back and see how it turns out. All right, guys? Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video here at Corey Samples with Samples Family Reptiles. Got my wife manning the camera tonight. Everybody say hi, Christina. Hi, Christina. Say hi.
Hi, babe.
Alright, so we're done. We've got all the layering in. We've got the fiberglassing in the corners where it's needed. Final layers have been put on. So, you know, everything actually went, I'm not going to lie, it went horribly. Don't let me lie. It went horrible. So I mixed way too much at first and I ruined half a batch, and thankfully what I had left out of my next box of 2-part epoxy, I was able to put 2 batches in and make it happen. So that's been good. Anyway, like I said, we got the final layers on and we still have all the masking tape on. A lot of people say to wait till it dries to pull that stuff off. However, I don't want to wait. I don't want a chance waiting, and then when I go to pull it off, it doesn't want to come off because it's epoxy and it's meant to stay. So, what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and take it off, and let's get started. Mark this corner right here. Start on right here. And just work our way in. See how it comes out. There's a little on the sides, but that's alright. I knew this wasn't going to be absolutely 100% perfect.
It's your first one, so.
It's what?
It's your first one?
Yeah, first one. So, no big deal. On top of that, not only is it my first one, but there's going to be doors. So you won't relatively see all that when it's closed. That's awesome. So, let's keep it going, see what happens. I feel like I would do a lot better without the gloves on, but I don't want to take them off and get it all over my fingers again. So I'm going to avoid that. Get rid of tape as we go, since I just realized that's how I got it all stripped on here. So we'll try and play with it for a half a second and see where it is that I actually have everything. It's driving me nuts. Guys, the more I peel this back, the better this is actually kind of looking, in my opinion, and I'm actually, I don't know, from what I feel, it's going to turn out quite well, and I'm going to be quite pleased with the end outcome once I get all my doors and everything back on once they're dry. So that'll be great. See, we already have some drying right here. That's alright. I can go back later and try and get all that and scrape that out. So not a big deal. This is probably definitely why they tell you to make sure you do all your layers on the same day for sure. Heaven knows you may not get this back off if you had to do it opposite. Or if you decided to wait anyway. This tape does not like me right now, look. There it goes. Going all the way down. And you know what?
Good.
I'm gonna at least replace my gloves because I'm getting paint all over them, and I want to keep the paint off, or the epoxy off my hands, because it does not like to come off, y'all, at all. All right, so let's go back up here and keep going. Go get past you and grab a trash can. Alright, please don't pay attention to the trash can.
Or the messy chairs.
Yeah, the chairs are holding materials from this still. But that's alright. Let's see, we got some hard spots right there. And one right here. That's alright. That's alright. I'm pulling nice and slow, maybe. Keep up with me. Oh, yeah, I got almost got the piece that tried to stick with it. All right, let's
It's all nice and shiny.
It is, isn't it? Looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Hoping that once it finally cures out, y'all, I'm hoping we've got a nice finished product. Nice finished product. Must have got some on there, but that's okay.
Yeah, I wiped some off when I noticed it.
That's okay. And this right here can be resanded down the road, so it's okay. Once all this dries and I don't have to worry about sawdust being a major issue.
That's probably everywhere.
Yeah. Halfway dry my fingers.
Huh?
Use this rag to halfway dry my fingers off. As we go.
Mato, come. Come. Good boy.
Alright, one more side to go, y'all.
It looks really good.
The doors I am, however, not going to mess with today. Well, I don't know. Maybe. But probably not during the video. I think a lot of the excess paint that ended up at the bottom will probably end up gone by the time this is all said and done. Oh, well, I mean, end up being hidden by all the doors. I don't think there's a single piece that I've seen so far that won't be hidden by the doors once it's put together. And of course, we'll do a finished project video on that one as well once it's all together and glass doors are in and
excited. Be stoked to see how this comes out in the end. Oh yeah, that's professionalism right there, guys.
That one's coming off nicely.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Jojo's just staring at us. It's like, you're disturbing
Y'all,
my
I really
sleep.
like this contrast of green and Woodstock. I mean, that actually looks.
Looks really good.
And the more I'm peeling this, the better I'm liking it.
Now, what were the color options you had?
You could do black, you could do gray, there was white, there's sky blue, there's green, I think there was red. Of course, there was the green. Beyond that, to be honest with you, I don't really know. I really know the black because it's what I saw in the video. I know the sky blue because of the Pond Armor videos, and that's what we've talked about for the Esteban that we're getting eventually. And I know about this color because I originally wanted to do green, so this was the first color looked up to be picked out. Other colors I didn't much pay attention to be honest with you, so I'm not quite sure on those. Is this the last one? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Ready, yo? I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
It looks good, Ben.
It is. So, what have I learned? What have I learned? Well, for one, read the damn instructions. Because if you don't, you're going to be left doing like what I did and mess it all up. And I really freaked out thinking I had quite literally just messed it all up and was freaking out because I didn't know what my monitor was going to go in when it got here. Thankfully, that's been taken care of with the help of my wife, because I tell you what, trying this 2-part epoxy pond shield, hey, for y'all who don't know, or if I didn't say this, I'm going to now. It says an hour work time. That's wrong. You have about 30 minutes. Even on the smallest recipe, 30 minutes, and it is set. It is hot as all get out, and it is setting solid. Man, on my first layer, when I was doing the bottom sections on the first layer, I could tell immediately after about 15-20 minutes that it was starting to get super thick, and after about 25-30 minutes, I mean, it was just real blotchy. I had to throw that roller away and mix all new stuff up and throw all those pails out, and I lost half of what I was working with thinking that I could make it. But you can't really see, but there's a ton of bracing in this thing, and so to be completely honest with y'all, it's real meticulous, and time was not on my side this weekend with this. But it's done. We got it done. The only thing left now to add is the lash tracks, top and bottom, and let the doors dry out and put those back on, and then go from there, putting everything back together and getting the water tub back in and sealed down correctly, and getting some slate up there and tons of climbing objects and all my lights in, and we are going to be in business. So yeah, when I get it all back together in the next day or two, I will take pictures and take another video. Be a short one, a lot shorter than this one, obviously. But in essence, that's it, man. So when this is all said and done, and I finish getting it back together, I left that side out over there, the drawer, because I'm going to kind of modify it to house all my electrical appliances and such. So yeah, when it's all said and done and put back together, we'll make another video of the finished outcome and the surprise that's going in there. Alright, well, I appreciate y'all guys tuning in. If you like my videos or have any comments or any tips, you know, as well, hit like, subscribe, and comment. As I said, man, if I can get tips on how to do this stuff even better, I'm all ears. So once again, I appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see you next time.